Burr, yes, I'm going to whine. It's cold. My hands are cold. My feet's cold. My toes are cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. But today it's going to warm up a little bit. You know, we've only had like 2.5 days of really cold weather. But there's something about old age. It brings out the burr in you. And I don't know if our blood gets different or what's going on, because used to, I loved when it got cold weather, because I'd say, oh man, now I'm not going to be back there in that kitchen at the iron skillet sweating. I'll be nice and warm back there. But there's something about cold weather now. What's changing about it? I don't know. It might be my old bones. But happy day. We survived Veterans Day out in the cold. Our crew was out doing parade. And Canton had a parade, and Jasper had a parade, and Ellijay had a parade. Parades were everywhere. And the guy's going to be working on editing the Ellijay parade, and you're going to get to see some of that later. I hope that you got to celebrate your veteran. And today we're going to celebrate some of you veterans, because I just randomly picked a bunch of photos that we're going to share. So if your guy's not up there, don't get your feelings hurt. I did this at like 5:15 in the morning. And I was just sorting, going through, trying to decide. And I said, this one, and every age group. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Let's celebrate our veterans. Let's celebrate all our military. Let's celebrate that maybe tomorrow the government will go back to work. I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, but a lot of people didn't get paid, but Congress and the Senate chose to pay themselves. So maybe you should write a letter to Congress. And maybe you should say, nasty. That's what my grandma would say. Do not get your paycheck if you don't work. If you don't work, you don't earn it. So there you go. And hopefully they will get it straightened out tonight, and that will be it. Okay, we got through an election, and about a 50-vote difference in winning and losing. Another election that I was really concerned about happened down in the Cherokee-Fulton County area, and our guy lost by 60 votes. A good guy won, had several Republicans running, and when you have several good guys running, somebody's going to lose. It's very important to exercise your right to vote. So, if you're not registered to vote, get registered. There'll be other elections coming up, and do you know that our military, I'm thinking about the wars that we've gone through. I mean, my grandmother lived through wars, my mother lived through wars, I've lived through wars, but right now they're trying to calm the world down. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have war? Wouldn't it be nice if we could get things done in a nice way? We could talk about things, we could settle things, we could do things a little differently than they've been done in the past. And maybe it's time. I keep thinking about that song, about the Coca-Cola song, I'd like to teach the world to sing. I'd like to teach the world to just, get over it, and let's just go. Let's just get it over with. But veterans fought and died for us to have the right. And I think about in my lifetime the rights that women now have. Because women now make as much money, or many times more money, than the husbands make. Women have the right to vote. Women have the right to do a lot of things that we didn't have the right to do. And I look back at my mom, who was a young teenager, went to Atlanta, got a job. Nobody in the family had ever done anything like that. Nobody had ever left Dawson County. And Mama just said, I don't want to stay around here. I want to do better. So if you look around, a lot of people who joined the military maybe came from areas that there wasn't much opportunity. The military is a great opportunity for you to make a difference in our lives, but for you to make a difference in your life, because after 20 years, you get to retire, you have your retirement, you have all your benefits. It is amazing. If you have the character, you have the stamina, and you have the heart, the military is hiring. So think about that and decide, what do you want to go to? Well, I just love the Marines dress blues. Now, I'll get in trouble for saying that because everybody else's dress blues are pretty too. But nothing outshines the Marines, and the Marines just became 250 years old. So yes, we salute the Marines. Now, we're going to share some photos with y'all because today's going to be a very special program. I've been working on some things, and we call it Getting to Know. And recently I did a segment that it's going to be crazy because we're going to have to do a little editing to it. We had a little blip in it. That's what happens when you're doing live stuff. So we're going to put it together, and you're going to get to know the family that has fed your families for over 61 years in Jasper. So you're going to get to know Cindy Heath and her family, and when her mom and dad started the Speed Burger, it was just a little thing, and now it's a biggie, and it's been a biggie for over 61 years. This is our Ellijay, our hometown son, precious Noah Harris. Everybody knows the story of losing Noah. Everybody knows the story of people coming together. Everybody came together to salute and to honor this young man. And we put ribbons out for over 20 miles. We put ribbons every 100 feet to honor those who were lost, to honor those who came home with all kinds of problems and health issues, and just so many things happened at war. And we should never forget. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we act crazy and we don't think about what's happening, but we need to always remember. Please always remember there's somebody's family who is visiting a cemetery, and that young son didn't go home. He didn't come home. So think about that. And we're going to share some photos, and one of them is, now this was last night, Talking Rock, Georgia, Ellijay, Georgia. Is that not absolutely stunningly beautiful? I thought you had to go to Alaska to see that, for goodness sake. That's Talking Rock, Ellijay. Are you kidding me? Isn't that beautiful? That's like somebody painted that. Well, no, it's not AI. It's not painted. It's not, somebody didn't doctor that. It's just beautiful. And that was last night. Last night. So if you were like me in the house, wrapped up in about 3 blankets and 2 pairs of socks and a hoodie, then you wouldn't have seen this. But isn't that beautiful? And again, we're talking Rock, Gilmer County, over about Whitestone. You could see it everywhere. That's crazy. That was last night. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And so now I won't waste money going back to Alaska to try to find those lights, because I remember flying into Alaska one night. And you can see it now. There's one of my favorite soldiers. My favorite. That is sweet Harry Doss and a friend. And when we look at those, they are all dressed up. I wonder where they're going. They were all dressed up to honor somebody for something. That's what we do. And this is a very special lady in Ball Ground. It was hers. And I said, I'm going to use this because, you know, gone but never forgotten. Gone but never forgotten. There's so many people who went into the military who didn't make it home. There's so many who did make it home and had flashbacks and serious problems from what they saw at war. There's so many people who paid the ultimate price. And if you haven't visited the cemetery down in Canton, you better do it now while the wreaths across America are going to be on them for about a month. It is so beautiful. Take your video camera, play some really good music, God Bless the USA, and stand there and just watch it, the hundreds and hundreds of graves that will have wreaths on them. So is that not cool? Now, is that not cool? I don't know whose truck that was, but I just thought that was very appropriate for yesterday. Maybe it's appropriate for every day in America. Maybe we should always honor the flag and salute the flag, and maybe we should remember to start the day with, I pledge allegiance. We should pledge allegiance. We should pledge allegiance to this amazing flag, this amazing country that we are honored to call home. And we are honored to call it home because some veterans gave everything so we could be safe and protected. And yesterday was the day to celebrate them. And you will get to see the parade here in Ellijay. If you brave the cold, we will be airing that. And it's crazy because yesterday I think the high was like 32. So this is one of my favorite photos. And I found it. And I said, oh my gosh, you know, this is the real deal. This is what war is about. It's really not about the medals and the honors. It's about being in those horrible situations and eating those terrible meals out of those little cans. And what do they call it? SOS? Yeah, it's one of those things. That's reality in war. That is the reality in war. And when we look back, we had the Vietnam era, we had the Gulf, we had, oh my gosh, I remember 91 when Bush was in, and we had the Gulf War, and there were so many things going on. And we sent kids from everywhere. And some of them didn't come back. Some of them didn't come back, and it's been sad. Isn't that another one from last night? Is that not beautiful? Is that not pretty? Now that looks like, it's just amazing to me. And I shouldn't have been asleep. I should have been out watching it. But I was so happy that people shared them, and I said, oh my gosh, that looks like Alaska. And it's not. It's Talking Rock, Georgia, and Ellijay, Georgia. So that is pretty cool. If you have a camera, I don't know if it's going to do it again tonight. Now this, I love this gentleman. I love this gentleman. He was in the Navy, and his little uniform was probably a size 20 waist. I mean, it was tiny. He was a little guy. And you know what the military does? It takes boys and makes men out of them real quickly. And that must have been a really much older photo. That maybe World War II, probably. I would think. But when we look back, so many people left their homes, left their families, and that is my uncle, which just blew my mind. I had 7 uncles, and all of them, this is the only one that was military, and I don't know how Uncle Arthur ended up in the Army, but he did, and he, such a good guy, such a good guy. But he was Army, and I thought, that is so weird, because none of the rest of the boys, as we called them, went into the military. The rest of them might have been on the banks of the Etowah making moonshine. And this, look at the difference in the generations. Look at the difference in the age. Look at that. It's just it's so cool. But yeah, there's something about a marine dress blue, something about it. So to each of you, we honor, we salute you. We're so thankful that you gave your time, gave your energy, gave your heart to the country that we love. And what a joy to get to wake up in the United States of America and know that we are a free country. And I love that. I don't know how long part of our country is going to be free, because there's some craziness going on in New York. And all I can say is, New Yorkers, my phone number is 404-375-0590. When you get tired of the socialist craziness up there, just call and I'll sell you a house down in Florida. I'm not going to sell you one in Georgia, because the people around me would be mad at me if I sell any houses. So I'm just going to send you on down to Florida, and I've got an agent down there you can work with. No, I'm kidding. You can come to Georgia if you want to. But I'd say a lot of people are going to be leaving New York because they've made a muck of that place. It's going to be a mess. Now, there's more. That was Talking Rock, too. That's just stunning. And that's just, were we surprised by that? Did y'all know it was going to happen? Have I been under a rock somewhere asleep and I didn't know that was going to happen? But it's so really, really cool. And thanks for sharing your photos, because those are really, really, that's beautiful. That is just stunningly beautiful. So, and I don't know if they're going to happen again tonight, but maybe this will encourage y'all to get out there and look out the windows. Now this is the war I grew up in, Vietnam. So many guys that I went to school with went to Vietnam. I only know of 2 who did not make it back home. I don't know if there were more that I didn't keep up with, but I know of 2. And often I honor John Delbert Swan. He left a precious little girl and his wife Judy behind. And yeah, it's a sad time, because I think about them often. She didn't get to know her dad because she was too little when he passed away. This was in Canton yesterday. And my favorite photo is the last one of this you'll see, because it shows that little gentleman. Look at him. That little elderly gentleman. I don't know what war he was in, but I love that they still love getting out, being honored, and honoring that amazing flag. They served under that flag, and they still today love it, salute it, and honor it, as we all should, as we all should. And I hope that you'll learn to fly a flag at your house. And those little Boy Scouts, I don't know if their mamas didn't tell them, but it was cold yesterday, and they had on shorts. It was cold, so I bet their little legs got cold. It was a very cold day for a parade, but it was great because it was sunny. Jasper had a good crowd turnout. Ellijay had a good crowd turnout. There's the little gentleman. Is that not the sweetest thing? Golly doodle. Don't know how old he is. Maybe World War II, probably, I would say. But how cool is that? And that beautiful flag. That's what it's about. And that's what you honor, protect, obey. And this is so cool, guys, because if you're a retired military and you retire young, then you can still have another career and you can build yourself up some more money, because the police departments are always hiring. Cherokee County is hiring big time right now because they're growing so fast. Jasper has a bunch of military guys who are on their police force and their fire force. So think about that. If you're military and you've retired young and you don't want to sit around the house and get bored, all the police departments around us are hiring in every capacity. I mean, they're just from jailers to you name it, because there's always somebody retiring or somebody moving away or whatever. But again, it's so neat to be able to honor these guys who had a career in the military and then chose to be as police officers or fire, and that's really cool, really, really cool. Marines, see, he had that beautiful dress blue. National Guard Army, so there you go. And that's what it's about. It's about giving back to your nation. It is about honoring our nation, and it is about supporting our nation. And the way you do that is you vote and you try to do for others and you give back. And that's what the military does. So, and there's another one, Army, and there's another Army. The Army's beating the Marines out. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this picture? Did they not see those dress blues? But it's so cool, and so we honor each and every one of you, and thank you each and every one for your service. If you have ever served and you didn't get to go out to the parade, you will get to see the Ellijay parade, because they're going to work on it and edit it today and get it on the air, and hopefully we can have that for you tomorrow, so you'll get to see some of that. It was cold, and I'd say you'll see some shivering. And we've got ball games coming up. We got basketball season starting. There's so many things going on with our system. We go from one sport to another parade to another event, and that's what we do, because at ETC we can pick up the cameras. We can go where you are, so it's fun, and you get to see that, and you don't have to get out of the chair. And between now and February, you're going to thank us for that, because you can sit there with your cup of coffee and you can just find out what's going on in the community. And there we go again. We honor once again First Lieutenant Noah Harris, killed in action, never forgotten, and always loved, in his precious, precious Mama Lucy. Precious, precious Mama Lucy. And nothing any better. And this, one of my favorite guests who brought me the best honey. Oh my gosh, he brought me some good honey. I think it came from Blairsville. It was so yummy. So yummy. As they called him, Papa Dockery. Papa Dockery. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. And then, happy birthday, because a very special man, I got to find out if he colors his hair, because that man don't never age. Wallace Parks, do you color your hair? Because it looks fantastic. Look at old white-headed me, and there you stand with that dark hair. I don't know if Miss Carol's your beautician or your magician. I don't know. If it's natural, then holy cow, your family's lucky. They are so lucky. They are lucky to have you. Happy birthday today. And all I will say is he's a little over 80. He's a little over 80. He's about getting to the middle of the 80s, so yeah. And if you got pictures of the beautiful leaves, they were pretty for a few days, and then it kind of got weird, and they got, a lot of them disappeared and went away. But I got some really pretty ones at the pond, and I just love those, because it just had that color, that little splash, and then they were gone. The leaves were gone, the color was gone. But get out, and you know what you see more of after the leaves fall? You see things that you don't even know are out there, just because you can see everything after the leaves fall. So, yep. So get out there and get your camera and go, but stay warm. And if you're out in a car, prepare before you get out in the cold. Now, I love that, because the leaves behind that was so pretty, and I love that old tin roof. It's so cool. So happy day, and let's stay warm. Let's stay in the house, and let's do something fun. Uh-oh, I knew it. Hello? Hey, what are you doing? Are you freezing to death? Well, I know. Covering ball games is hard when it's this cold. Yes, we're getting the studio ready for you. Oh, absolutely. We're excited. You know your daddy was one of my favorite people, and your sweet little mama too. So I just love that you're going to be with us, and that's so cool. You've been calling the games for a long time, and everybody loves you, so it's going to be really sweet to have you here. Yeah, so are you going to be here on Mondays? Is that what it's going to be? Okay, cool. Well, what's the name of the program going to be? Have y'all named it yet? Well, I'm excited. It's going to be neat. Yeah, and I bet you can find some guests that used to star as athletes in our community, can't you? Yeah, that'll be so cool. Drag out some of my old timers that used to play basketball and can now barely walk because you wore their knees down. So, yeah. Well, looking forward to it. Yeah, have a good day. I'm so glad you called, and welcome to ETC. See you soon. Bye. Y'all, Donna Enos is going to have a program on ETC coming up soon. She's all about sports. She's all about the school system. She's all about the kids. We have some kids excelling in sports now. They're doing very, very well. Do you know, sometimes when a kid does well, it's because they're encouraged and they're given hope, and that's what it's about, and I bet she'll talk a little bit about that. So you're going to get to see her here on ETC on Mondays. Haven't nailed down everything yet, but she's going to be here probably before I come on the air, and it'll be fun. It will be fun. So stay tuned to that, and we'll give you more information quickly. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to share a visit. I've been doing these things, getting to know, and I just started because I said I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos of people who are no longer with us. And I said, you know, we've got so many new viewers and so many people who aren't from the area. They didn't get to know Papa Jack Bryson. They didn't get to know the folks who started the Speed Burger. They didn't get to know so many people who have passed on and were big parts of our community. So I'm going to be sharing specials, getting to know. So today we're going to sit back and you're going to get to know a man who went to Korea. He went to war. He had a hard time talking about it. It took him forever for me to get him in the studio. His sons took him to Washington, D.C. He got to see the memorials. He got to see the monuments. And then he was able to come and sit down and talk about it. Think about that. Think about all the people coming home from war who have a really hard time dealing with it. Right now, in Cherokee County, our population is almost 290,000 people. Last year, the goal was to get 10,000 coats for homeless veterans. We met the goal to 8,000, and we didn't get the last 2,000. This year, would you please get in touch with me? Get in touch with Jim at the Armory. Get in touch with Arrow Exterminating in Canton, Georgia. Drop your coats off there. Pick up the phone and call me. I will come and get them. Tell everybody you work with to bring in one jacket. If everybody we work with brings in one jacket, then we can make a difference. If a county, the population, almost $290,000, can't get up 10,000 coats, well, shame on us. Shame on us. None of those who served ever said, well, we can't be there today because we've got something to do. They all served with pride, and it is time that we help our homeless vets. And there are homeless vets everywhere in America. There is no excuse for a veteran not to have somewhere to go to sleep warm tonight. So if you got cold today, I was whining this morning. I was whining because I had to get out and crank the car, warm it up. It was cold and I was just ornery. And then I thought, how stupid. Because there are veterans who sleep on the street every single night in Cherokee County, Georgia. So please, if you work at a company, send out a company-wide email and say, hey, everybody, bring me one coat. Bring one coat. Let's try to reach our goal this year. The goal is still 10,000, even though there are 16,000 homeless vets in Cherokee County. So please be a part of solving the problem, not being the problem. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, you get to visit with my dear, dear, dear Papa Jack.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time. And delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
If you or your business are looking for local advertising opportunities, we have sponsorships available for new programming coming soon on ETC3. Contact us at 706-697-5591.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea, or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Okay, today is a day I've looked forward to. I've dreaded because I know that it's going to be a tough day to get Papa Jack through some of the things. You boys, David, Wally, you took your dad on a trip that you really, really were excited about. To where?
Washington, D.C.
What did he want to go see?
Well, we wanted him to see all the monuments, but especially the Korean War monument.
Right.
I had taken my grandson 2 times in the last, Marty and I had taken our grandson 2 times in the last 3 years and spent 2 weeks both times. And Wally and I talked about it. We knew we could not get Dad there for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Dad's like me, about 3-day trip. That's about it.
Well, Mom always says, you want your dad to go anywhere, don't tell him till you're getting in a car. But
Good
we
plan.
were afraid to do that. So Wally and I, about 3 weeks, I guess, we planned it. Pulled it off.
It's a neat place.
Yeah. Bill's been there. He brought back some photos. Now, you happen to have about 400 photos. We're going to share some today.
Yeah, we do.
We may not share all of them, but we're going to share some. Now, I've never been to Washington, D.C. Can you give us an idea for a person who's never been there how amazing it is to pull up and see? I can't imagine it. You told me that it is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Your first trip there, what did you think?
Well, I went when I was a child. Matter of fact, Mom.
So it didn't amount to much when you were a child.
And I think back of that trip, and it really didn't. I was 12 years old, and of course Wally was 3 weeks old. Mother said, we're going to Washington, D.C., whether Wiley's a baby or not. So you were, what, 2.5 or 3 weeks old. So his first trip, he doesn't remember a whole lot. But, you know, as a child, it was just a big place. But to go back this many years later, knowing the number of people that had lost their lives, you know, especially through the memorials.
Right.
And not just the memorials, it was also it's there to honor those who came back alive, not just those who lost their life there.
Right.
And yeah, it brings tears to your eyes to watch the veterans as they go around and do their things. But Wally and I talked about it, and we wanted Dad to be, when Dad was there last, there were a few memorials, but nothing like that. So we wanted Dad to see it. And it was a man thing. We left Denise and Mom at home.
Okay, I want to ask you something. Wally, do you remember, were you alive during the Vietnam War?
Yes, I was born in 1965.
Okay, so about toward the end of it. Okay. I remember the day the POWs came home. Do you remember things like that?
Yes, I remember watching it on the news, but I didn't learn the significance of it till later.
Right.
But I can remember seeing the planes land and various things from the news coverage.
Right. Well, I think television opened children's eyes. There's my generation didn't have all the coverage that we had, so I didn't know a whole lot about that. But I can remember the 60s, and I can remember Vietnam ending, and I can remember the POWs coming home in the 70s. I can remember those things. Your dad has an amazing memory. He remembers 60 years ago. How old were you, Papa Jack, when you went to Korea?
I was 20 years old.
At 20 years old, you left the village over in Cartersville, Georgia, where you grew up, tiny
Well, I was
town?
19 when I joined the Army.
Okay.
Sworn in November the 1st, 1950.
Talk about going from that tiny town to what is the city you went to go to Korea? Where did you fly out of?
Didn't fly. Caught a boat.
A boat?
Yes.
Where'd you catch a boat in Georgia?
Didn't know to go to basic training. I caught a train and went to basic training.
Okay.
From where I finished my basic training after a 7-day leave, went to California on a troop train and got on a boat, and rest is history.
Now, the time from going from here to California on a train took how long?
Gosh, I don't know how many days it was.
You know, it'd be 3 hours today. If you were a military man today, leaving Fort Rucker and going to Pendleton, is Pendleton in California?
Camp Pendleton is a Marine base in California.
3 hours. 3 hours. It didn't take you 3 hours on a train, did it?
No, it took about, I don't know, it didn't take as long as it did to go from Pier 91 in California to Yokohama, Japan. It took 17 days. It took about half that going west.
17 days on a boat.
On a boat.
First time away from home?
Yes. Went to Florida in 1947 for the first time out of the state of Georgia, I guess. I'd been to Alabama before. Had a brother live there.
Alabama doesn't count? We don't
it counts. It counts with me. Some good days in Alabama.
Well, you were stationed at Fort Rucker during a period of time.
When I came back from Korea, I was stationed at Camp Rucker, it was then, and finished my time training troops.
You
there.
went over as a private?
Yeah.
Is that right? And came back what?
Sergeant first class, the old tech sergeant.
Does that mean you were a good guy when you were there?
Means I was a fine guy. It really does.
Yeah, yeah. You earned how many stripes?
5.
Wow.
5.
Wow.
5.
Now, I've seen that memorial in Washington that they're talking about, the Korean War Memorial.
Yeah.
What did you think about that memorial?
Well, it brought back a lot of thoughts and memories, and it looked so real, like going back in time.
It's kind of an eerie sight to me because of the guys in the raincoats and the,
Oh, yeah. Those ponchos and all the weapons. I literally inspected every weapon every man had, in that group as we looked at it. Now, we saw it in the daylight, and the awesome thing we saw, and of course we walked, I don't know how many miles in 3 days. We walked everywhere in the rain and whatever. But at night, it was awesome. It was awesome. You could see so much more of it and the wall that we saw there. As Vietnam Memorial had the wall, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. 59,600 odd names on there.
Yeah.
The World War II Memorial was just an awesome sight.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think about that one?
Oh, I thought it was, I remember World War II like it's yesterday. And
I can't remember what I had for lunch, and that did amaze me this weekend talking to you. You remembered so many things from 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And you made a statement a couple of times this weekend. You said, well, it's been a long time, but you have an amazing memory of that. Good memories and bad memories both?
Both, yeah.
Friendships that lasted a lifetime?
Yes. Some. Especially now, more of the friendships that I've been involved in were made after I came back from Korea during the war and stationed at Camp Rooker, Alabama. We still visit family in Florida that we've known since 1952.
Wow.
You know, and it's an amazing journey, really. I thought a lot of times about making a military career. I had good opportunity and for advancement and whatever, but it wasn't conducive to family life. And by the way, speaking of Alabama, David's an Alabama native. He was born in Camp Rooker, Alabama.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
I hadn't told everybody in Fannin County that.
And I tell them that, you know, and they just laugh, you know. Well, says we thought something was wrong with him.
Well, we're glad you came home and did not make a military career, because you made one of the most amazing families in this community. You happen to have a variety of children from a female pastor as your daughter Denise. That's very unusual. You happen to have a young man here who steps up to the plate. And can you cook hash browns? Wally, can you cook a lot of hash browns?
I can, but if it gets down to me cooking, we're in big trouble.
You own 3 huddle houses: Chatsworth, Georgia; Cedar Bluff, Alabama; and Rainsville, Alabama?
Center, Alabama.
Center, Alabama, that's right, yeah. Now, how long and why did you end up in Alabama? We know David was born there and had the sense to get out. Why did you go there and stay?
His wife, but his wife is watching this. So
I graduated from Georgia Southern in 1987, and David and his college roommate were involved in some pizza places, pickup and delivery, and so David and I decided to open some of those restaurants, and after probably 6 months of looking for locations, we ended up finding a very good location in Rainsville, Alabama, and so I moved over there and met a girl.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Now, you've got the location in Rainsville is right across from the high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plainview High
Great
School.
location.
Right. We were looking for something closer to the red light, and I was fortunate enough to work for an old football coach one time that said he'd rather be lucky than good. And we looked for months for a place closer to the red light, and then this lot came up across from the high school out of the blue, and it turned out to be the perfect place for a huddle house. It's across from the Coliseum and baseball and football fields, and the industrial park's behind me. So I was very fortunate to stumble into that, because it was certainly not by our actions or on purpose that we were there, but it worked out, and they built a new road beside us, and so.
Didn't hurt your feelings any, did it?
No, it was great. It was great.
My question is, does Mom and Dad get to eat for free when they come?
They do if I'm there. If I'm not there, they won't leave without paying.
They're a little
real,
on the stubborn side. I will tell you that about both of them.
They're real hard to swing towards that. But if I'm there, I can sneak them out. But if I'm not there, they won't divulge their identification, and they pay. So.
Now, you do have a very, very close family, and even though you're in Alabama, it's quite often your mom will say, we're going over to see Wally, we're going over to see the kids. Even though you're in Alabama, y'all are still very close, aren't you?
We are, and there's probably not usually 2 or 3 weeks goes by that David or some of the family, Denise or Mom and Dad's there, or we're here, or...
How long does it take to get from here to Rainsville?
Before the rock slide, or that?
Yeah.
If you can go through the Ocoee, it takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get from my house to Mom and Dad's. But now it takes about 3 hours if I come.
What if you go through Resaca that way? Is there a better way? How do you go now since the rock slide?
Chattanooga to Dalton to
Okay.
bypass Chatsworth on the bottom side and come across the mountain into Ellijay.
Okay. Well, we want folks to go and see you because you do have an amazing family, and I saw that Saturday night. I was warned when we had dinner with y'all, there were 17, 18 of us. It was a very quiet, very cordial, very, you know, everybody was having conversations with everybody. And your Joyce had said, this will scare you to death when all these Brysons get together. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see the little kids. Now, is it Tucker, your son?
Yes.
Who loved the little baby, and he sat there and played with the baby. Everybody just gets along great. Is it always that way, and has it always been that way?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Actually, it has been pretty good.
Yeah.
We've all learned how to talk and listen at the same time, so nobody gets offended when they're asked
And I understand that different views, but not big arguments. You know, Mom has one view, y'all have a different view, and we all, and just discussions, but not big arguments.
You ain't talking political stuff, are you?
Just a little.
Well, Wally and I think, do better with Mom than Denise. Something about two women discussing things they disagree on. But they know when to quit talking, I guess.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about your mom. Was my first guest that somebody said, well, somebody can hold a candle to Sherry Martin. Your mom has done everything. She's been involved in so much and continues to be today. And she's 70, Papa Jack, she's 76?
39.
Yeah, 39.
I can't say that she's 76. She'll have to tell you that.
She is 76. I'll tell you that.
And still busy, busy, busy. Is that what makes them look so young? They're so active in so much?
I guess. They've always been active in whatever Mom wanted them to be active in.
Papa Jack.
When Dad outgrew softball, then Mom kind of took over. He played a lot of softball when we were younger. But one of the neat things that we do at the house is make it a point with cell phones and telephones to stay in contact with each other. Well, you know, we talk to each other, you know, a lot and text a lot. But without that, it would be much more difficult because when Wally first moved over there, our phone bills were pretty high.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of options. You know, it was before the split up, but now it's a whole lot easier to be able to do that.
Now, talk about opposites attracting. I think that you were from a family different than Joyce's family.
Entirely.
Entirely.
Yes.
And she told me that. And she said, you know, her dad was a pastor, went to church every time the doors opened, and many, many churches. Tell me a little bit about your family.
We had a family.
Did you have a large family?
That's a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, there was 8 of us.
Okay.
I'll tell you the things that I remember. My kid brother Bill, I think he's 73 or 4
and
now.
I've met Bill, yeah.
When he was born in 1936, my mom had a stroke during labor and childbirth, and she was paralyzed, invalid all the way through World War II. And there was 8 of us all together, and we moved. We didn't have a lot of anything. We were mill workers. You know, my dad worked all the time. We lived in a...
Was it the ADCO building?
No. This was at Tryon, Georgia.
Okay.
And we lived between the wagon bridge and the railroad bridge right on the Chattooga River. You know, 6 miles, I think, 5 or 6 miles above Somerville, Georgia.
Right.
All of us kids were born there except one. My older brother was born on a farm. My dad was sharecropping farmer until he was 20 years old, went into the textile mill to work. And we left there and moved to Calhoun after World War II had started and lived there during World War II. I was a freshman in Calhoun High School in 1945 or 6, I forget exactly. And then we moved from there to ATCO, and I was 15, I think. And from there on, it's history.
And I've seen photos of a 15-year-old Jack Bryson. You were so cute. No wonder Joyce got her head turned.
Well, the way Joyce got in the family, or the way I got into Joyce's family, her dad was a pastor, and he was called from here to pastor the Atco Baptist Church in Cartersville, Georgia. That's a Goodyear Mill, a village. It had everything involved in it. They had had the homes, they had their own police force. Bill knows, I knew Bill's mom when she was just a little bitty girl, and that whole family. And so when Joyce and family moved to Cartersville in 1948, the rest is history. You know, we had a date, and we had another date, and so on. And I joined the Army before we got married. We were engaged, and I came home on leave, and we were together. We got married, and we were together 7 days before I went overseas, and then stayed there until we moved up here.
Now, what's it like today to be, you're the head honcho. Joyce appears to be, but you are the head of a large family that is so involved, and today you still work in the school system.
I sub at Fannin County Middle School. You know, I worked there for 12 years, and I really enjoyed that time.
The kids love you.
I really am not acquainted with the kids now like I was when I saw them come and go right on through, my grandchildren and all. But I consider that the best employment that I ever had, right there. It taught me more about how the system works. I never had any inkling of an idea what was involved in running a school system and what have you, even though David was teaching.
Right.
Marty was teaching, and it's just awesome to think about what goes into keeping an organization like a school system going. And I learned a lot, I enjoyed a lot of it, and I still enjoy going back. They treat me like I'm family.
They do, and they love you. David retired from the Georgia school system.
Yes.
Walked across the street and went to work in Polk County, Tennessee.
Well, I turn right out of my driveway instead of left now, so it's nice.
Why didn't you give up teaching? What was in you? Was it something maybe he taught you, maybe your mom taught you? Why did you want to go back into teaching?
Well, one thing Dad didn't say about his family is they work. I mean,
amazing work ethics.
Well, they don't ever retire. His brothers worked, you know, and his one for the state highway, one in the banking business, one, you know, they just all, his sisters, they all worked. It was not one of those things that it's expected, you know, it's expected. And I guess I'm not ready to retire. Plus, my wife has 4 more years, and
why would you want to be sitting at home alone?
She said I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So she said I need to continue what I love doing. I love to teach, and I started out teaching 5th and 6th grade, and that's what I'm doing now. And it is a lot of fun. I still enjoy it, and very much. The day I don't enjoy it, I'll go home. I'll go home.
Yeah. Do you think you've made a difference in some children's lives?
Oh, I think so. If you're in teaching because you love kids, which is why you should be there,
right?
You will make a difference in a lot of people's lives. I look back, and there's particular teachers at Cartersville that I can tell you made a tremendous difference in my life. I was in the city school system there, but it wouldn't have mattered if I'd been in the county.
Are y'all, I know David's older than you, are you close to Wally's age?
Well, I'm 47.
How old are you?
44.
Yeah.
Did you know Coach Matthew Hill?
No.
I did.
Dad knew several of those.
Summers Hill High School.
Yeah, he passed away last year.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
so you were talking about integration earlier. That's one of the highlights of my life is we integrated without any issues at all. All these other communities were having all of these problems integrating, and Ray Hill was our superintendent at the time, and we integrated without any problem. The old high school, the Summer Hill High School was now the middle school, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10, 11, and 12 was Cartersville City Schools, and we had one little parade kind of deal, or march, or whatever you want to call it. Very peaceful, very, very polite, and there was no problem at all. And,
yes, Summer Hill and Cartersville was the black community, and then of course you cross the railroad tracks over here, and you had the white folks living over there, and then we started going to school. I went to Summer Hill for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I'm sure you remember, talking about memories, the four-way diner.
Oh, it's still there.
Yeah, in Cartersville.
Still there.
But I remember as a child where the blacks got their orders in the back. They ate in the back, and then I also remember as a high school student where they got to go in the front door.
Right.
So you had asked earlier, you asked Bill, did he live that time? Well, you know, we lived it. Some of my best friends were black, and being white, I considered myself to be one of their best friends. it was good.
Well, when we left Atlanta, Mother came to Jasper and opened a restaurant in what was the Archer Court motorhome, and they had a little restaurant building there, and the blacks continued to come to the back door, and Mother would meet them at the back door and say, if you want something to eat, march yourself around front and walk in my front door. And she met some resistance because she was serving at Martin Luther King's home the night he was assassinated, because she worked for the company that sent food out there and sent volunteers, and we were all involved in that. We didn't know that that wasn't the way America was supposed to work. And so when she came to Jasper, she met some resistance, because she would greet people at the back door and say, no, I'm not fixing your plate out this back door. Walk yourself around front. And they're like, no, Miss Hazel, I can't do that. And she said, oh, yeah, if you're going to eat my stuff today, you're going to do that. And she'd make them go around front. It was a little bit tough.
I never will forget the story that Henry Aaron talked about when they played baseball, and he was in the late 50s, early 60s, and they played a game up in Washington, D.C., and him and a couple of the other guys on the team went into a restaurant to eat, and they didn't want to serve them. And here's a famous pro baseball player, didn't want to serve them. And when they got done eating, he saw them take the dishes to the back and heard them slamming the dishes on the floor and breaking them.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, get over it.
But he grew up in an era, he could tell us more about that, I'm sure, but how were the black soldiers treated during the Korean War?
I was going to ask you that, because I saw a photo of you and you had a black soldier in a photo with you. Was there separation in the time of service?
Not. Well, in training, I was in training with the all white. There was a black outfit, 24th Night Fighters, they called it. Now that's not to be confused with the 24th Infantry Division that I served in Korea. But they split them up and put them in different units, and I met a couple of them that came into our unit. And that man you saw was probably one of them. And then at Fort Rooker, Alabama, Camp Rooker, when I came back down there, the combat engineer battalion that I was in didn't have any blacks in it when I first went there. It was a National Guard outfit that was being phased out as far as training, active duty, and we set up to give advanced combat engineer training. Then they sent in one black company commander there, sharp man, knew what he was about, and then several soldiers. We had 15 came into my platoon at one time.
It was a different
But we
time
didn't
in
have any
America.
problems.
No.
We
Well,
didn't have any problems. They were good soldiers. They were sharp, and they excelled in a lot of areas that white soldiers were lax in, and vice versa. You know.
Papa Jack, were you drafted or did you?
No,
join?
I joined.
Okay.
I joined.
Was it during a time there was an active draft?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. One of my friends that died last week or 2 weeks ago in Cartersville, Georgia, was drafted after I came home, and was the war was ended in 1953, and I went in 1950, 6 months after the war had started, and went directly overseas from training, and then came back and trained troops the rest of my enlistment, and the war was over during the Eisenhower administration, 1953.
Let me ask you something. In the pictures I saw this weekend, were there trees where you were serving? Because it reminded me a little bit of Copper Hill. Wasn't a lot of greenery anywhere.
No,
Is that pretty much what the atmosphere was?
Most of the timbers were either blown up. Well, now in the south it was rice paddies, and then when you got further north toward the 38th parallel, and they cut all of those timbers and made bunkers out of them, trench lines and what have you. Wasn't a lot, but I went through soil twice or 3 times, and it wasn't, you couldn't even tell what it was. You know, it's blown all to heck. And it's a metropolis now. It's an amazing place, they say. But,
have you ever wanted to go back?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I really haven't. I was on the Eastern Central Front to start with, and then we did battalion reserve duty, and I was transferred out of an infantry thing into a pioneer and ammunition platoon support team, handling all the ammunition and supplies for the frontline crew. And that don't mean we weren't on the front lines and in harm's way. We were quite often. But that was most of my stay there was in that, and that's how I picked up an MOS number that was combat engineer. And when I came home and was stationed in a combat engineer unit at Camp Rooker, I requested a transfer to the infantry because I didn't know that, but I'd handle a lot of explosives, dynamite and C3 stuff that they used, you know, primarily to destroy booby traps and unexploded incoming artillery rounds. We just did a lot of things. And they said, no, said, we're going to send you on temporary duty to Fort Belvoir, Virginia for 3 months, and you're going to combat engineer school, said, because we need your expertise that you'll have when you come back to help write lesson plans and train troops. And that's what I did. So at the time I was there, Joyce went to Cleveland, Ohio, where my folks lived at that time, and stayed most of that 3 months. And I've been to Washington and never saw it, really, actually going through it and what have you. But a friend of mine that was in school there with me lived in Akron, and we would, on the weekends, hit the Pennsylvania Turnpike. We would hitchhike until we got to that turnpike, and then we'd hitchhike to Akron. And his dad ran a cabaret, you know, a nightclub type thing, and I remember a beautiful brand new Nash automobile that he'd take me on to Cleveland in, and he'd come back, you know.
Wow.
That's one of the good things I remember. But I enjoyed my time in the military very much.
Let's talk about the difference in the weapons you dealt with and the weapons of today.
I have no idea what they have today.
Can you even imagine the difference? Yeah.
No.
What about helicopters? Did you have helicopters then?
Well, the only helicopters.
Okay, you're going to get to see the rest of that in days to come. We're going to do some of the parade tomorrow and a little bit more of that. When I think about, Papa Jack's been gone a few years now, but the memory, the love, the support of the communities that we serve, he was such a big, big part of it. Joyce was such a big, big part of it. And what an honor to be able to salute and to honor them today. Now, we have great, great news from Ball Ground because Doris Dean suffered a stroke last week. She has been in ICU. Everybody's been worried to death, but great news yesterday. She's sitting up. She said, get me my shampoo, get me this, get me this. Do you know what that means when a woman starts asking for all that stuff? She's getting better. She's getting better. She has moved from ICU to a regular room now. We're hoping she will be coming home. She's having some therapy. And just pray that this stroke is the only stroke she ever has, and that she will be fine and dandy. And stress causes all kinds of health issues. Don't stress about it. Don't let it get you down. Just stay positive, stay focused, and stay happy. And so please today continue to pray for Doris and David, because good news is on the way. She's getting better. Yay, yay. And warm temperatures are coming back. We're going to have a little bit better weather for the next couple of days. So get out today if you're able, if you can. Go right around, see the last few leaves we've got. And don't forget to go by and get you an apple pie from somebody, and get you some of them apples to take home, because there's a rumor going around, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And in the winter months, we probably need it pretty bad. So have a great, great day, everybody. I will see you again soon. Don't forget, go to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. You're about to get visuals of 1,500 more programs that we've done in the past, because Tracy's going to be working his little fingers to the bone to get all that stuff on there. And we're going to do little blippets and little blip. And you'll get to see folks that you're like, oh, I forgot about them. We're not going to forget about anybody. We're going to throw it out there and let y'all remember the days, the past 20 years here at ETC. I'll see you again soon.